talk about Prime a little bit because there's something interesting going on, Aaron, where the cool factor for Prime is so overwhelmingly badass right now that it's leading to conversations that should be ridiculous or feel ridiculous, but actually aren't, right? Like we had it the other day. Should Deion Sanders go to Florida? Should Deion Sanders take over for Nick Saban at Alabama? Like that's a legitimate conversation that so it does beg the question. If I were to ask you, how would you answer this? Is Deion Sanders one of the best coaches in college football?
Yes.
Full stop.
Yes.
Top 10?
Yes. Top 10. I don't know if I want to put him in top 5. I don't know if I want to put him in top 5 yet. But I go at it in this mindset right now, T. Mm-hmm. If I'm starting a football team tomorrow,
mm-hmm.
and I've been promoted to athletic director of X University, Snaps University.
Yeah.
Who do I want as my head coach? Deion's probably my top 5 list right there.
So that's an interesting way to frame it, because if you do frame it like that, it's like, absolutely. I mean, the turnaround.
He actually maybe my number 2.
Yeah,
he may be my second coach I pick.
I mean, Kirby would be one. I think we'd all agree on that.
I think Deion's 2.
It doesn't feel so. Okay, so here's the only thing I have trouble with is
does it? I think does it matter? Does it matter? Depending on the university, like I think he's perfect for Colorado right now because Colorado was 1-11 last year, doesn't have a big brand, so it allows him to shine. Would the Deion brand be powerful at Ohio State, at Alabama, or does the brand Ohio State, Alabama outshine Deion? Like, would it make a difference? He's needed at Colorado to shine a light on Colorado.
No.
Is he needed at those other brands? Like, would all that glitz and glam and look at me, like, would that even work at a bigger school?
I think, look, Deion's charisma works anywhere. Anywhere. People like confident people, that like charismatic people. So like that works anywhere. Does it mean as much to those other schools? No, because people already always talk about Alabama, right? So like it changed Colorado to the point where Colorado, Nebraska at noon beat Texas, Alabama at night in the ratings. And you could say, well, not when you add in the McAfee numbers. When you add in the McAfee numbers, they beat him by 0.03 million. So miss me with that bullshit. My point. So it had a greater impact there in Colorado, but no, he plays anywhere. He'd be successful anywhere. The one question I have, once he gets past Shedeur, can he find and develop another elite quarterback? Because Shedeur is incredible. And quarterback is everything in this game, and it makes all the difference in the world. And Shedeur is next level good. Again, his own Elway moment, 98 yards at night in Boulder, with all the narrative of, my mom raised you better than me, hanging over his family's head. And he put it on for the Buffs. He put it on for the Sanders family, and they found a way to win the game. So once you lose that guy, can you still be elite? Because look, objectively, elite on the HBCU level, the best coach of the country on the HBCU level, objectively, done something that I don't think anybody else in the country have done with the Power 5 with Colorado this year. My only question is, once Shedeur is gone, can you still find and develop an elite quarterback?
The hard part is you were able to get,
but I do think he's top 10, unquestionably.
But I think the hard part was he was able to get him to Colorado because he was his son. Will there be another elite quarterback that is willing to go to Colorado? And this begs the question of how long is Deion going to stay at Colorado? And will Shedeur stay another season? Like if Shadeur's like, you know what, I know I'm a top 15 pick, but I'm not going to be a top 2 pick when it comes to quarterbacks. I think a lot of us kind of feel like it's going to be Caleb and Drake. If I know I'm going to be the number 1 pick in the draft next year, I get to come back and play with Travis again and my dad for one more season and then go to the NFL and be that number 1 pick, then you're on the time that we've talked about for Deion, the timeline of Deion's going to stay because Travis Hunter's there. He has 2 more. He has this season. He has next season.
Yeah.
He can't transfer again. Deion's not going to leave his boy.
No, that'd be fucked up.
I do think if he has 2 successful seasons, like if they're a 7-win team this year, 8-win team, if Shedeur comes back next season and say they're in the Big 12, which is now Texas and Oklahoma less, and say they win the Big 12 or a 10-win team, Deion's out. And then he goes to a better university. He'll be able to recruit a big-time quarterback. He'll be able to get a big-time quarterback out of the transfer portal. So I think to me, he needs to convince Shedeur to stay one more year. And then he's got to go somewhere that's a big enough brand to get a rock star quarterback that obviously isn't his son that can just tag along.
It sounds crazy, but if I was Shedeur, I mean, the quarterback market is so full this year. Like, you're making money, you're playing with your brother, your dad. Like, it would seem like there's a lot of incentive to want to come back. And to want to come back because like there's a million quarterbacks coming out this year. Maybe you can
you'll be in an easy conference. You'll be probably the best team in the conference. You give Deion one more offseason to hit the portal to make the team run you better.
Because now too, remember the one thing that was missing that all the recruiting boys were mad at Deion about before the year was the high school recruiting had not really hit yet. Well, I'm going to go out on a limb and say it does. Ryan Brumley in our chat saying Colorado was the most watched game week 3 despite starting at 10 Eastern. I mean, bruh, by the way, this is kind of a shameless plug for a fellow volume show, but also I would not talk about it if I didn't objectively love listening to it. And I don't listen to a lot of other sports stuff. Ocho and Unk, their NFL recap show with Shannon Sharp and Ocho Cinco is the funniest fucking shit I've ever heard. Ocho Cinco is one of my new media muses. He's quickly gaining a seat next to like Jack Black and Chris Farley in terms of guys that I look up to. But the point of this is they're doing an NFL recap show. How did they open the show for the first 10 minutes? Talking about Colorado State and Prime and everything else. So yeah, and I agree with Mario's crystal ball. Like, I think he could land a big time quarterback in Colorado. But again, Shedeur Sanders is a step above a big time recruit. You can get a big time recruit, but will that recruit actually end up being good? Because Shedeur Sanders is legitimately great and he remains great. And that's my only question.
I think you have to hit the portal. You have to hit the portal.
Yeah, I mean, yes, you can't do what Alabama did.
You can't do what Alabama did. Well, Alabama also hit the portal, just didn't work out extremely well. You have to hit the portal. Like if Deion wants to stay at Colorado, I think the next quarterback after Shedeur has to be a portal quarterback as you continue to build the brand. But I think the hard part too is like, once again, you're moving to the Big 12. Big time football for a lot of these kids is going to be the country's only going to want to talk about the SEC and the Big 10. True or false?
Well,
like, if you're a top quarterback in the country, do you really want to go to the Big 12?
I mean, I don't know.
Do you want to go to the Big 12? No, you're not going to want to go to the Big 12.
I'm not sure.
If you're worth your salt, you're going to want to go to the SEC or Big 10.
I would say this. I'm feeling a little insecure nowadays about trying to predict the future and the ripple effects of all these massive changes because I didn't have the Pac-12 as looking like the best conference so far this year. I didn't have the SEC looking shitty. I didn't have the strengthening of the middle class that we've seen where, like we talked about, the group of 5 is losing guys upward. The elite teams are losing guys downward. Like, college football is evolving in ways that I can't fully grasp or understand. So I see your logic behind that statement. I don't know though. I don't know that I agree with it because there's still going to be plenty of playoff room for Big 12 teams and for ACC teams. And so I don't know. I get why you're saying it. Because it is a bit like a Premier League, between the SEC and the Big 10, but we'll see. Do we even know what's going to happen to Oregon State and Washington State yet? That still pisses me off. These teams are so good. These teams are so good. Someone save them.
Well, the Mountain West, I think, wants them. I think that's like they're resisting going to the Mountain West so hard right now. I think that's where they're going to end up being, though.
The Mountain West is also definitely like big dogging him too, being like, okay, now in your time of need to come to me, the Mountain West. Okay, you bitch. So yeah, I mean, look, we're in agreement here on Steps. I think he's a top 10 coach. I think for like it's weird because like you said, if I'm hiring, he would be top 5 of the discussion, easy. If we're talking legacy, obviously you got to build out more of that legacy before we get you that. Look at this. Henry Price's number 1 2025 quarterback was on campus this week in Bryce Underwood. You know who else was? The Rock. You know who's probably
Little Wayne.
Well, yeah, little Wayne. Yes, little.
I would love to go for a visit. Who wouldn't want to go to a visit to Boulder, Colorado now and enjoy it? Yeah, doesn't mean you're going to commit, but I'm just going to take my free visit to Boulder, knowing that it's going to be celebrities everywhere. Hell yeah, I'm taking that trip. Now you just got to find a way to get that guy to commit. That's whole nother ball game.
And if you like mushrooms and weed, there's not a better college to go to.